In the second part of the book, we will see the big differences between the way the rich, the poor, and people of the middle class think, and we will present 17 habits that can help you in making a final change in your financial life. Part 1. Your financial plan. We live in a dual world. There is the high and the low, the light and the dark, the rich and the poor. There are thousands of opposite poles, and one pole cannot exist without its other counterpart. By analogy to this, just as there are external laws for money, there must be internal laws for money as well. It also includes external laws, include things like economic knowledge, money management, and investment. There are things covered by internal laws, which are your beliefs about money, your evaluation of your financial situation, and your expectations for your financial future. You, dear reader, must realize that your personality, way of thinking, and beliefs are what determine your level of success. Among the principles of wealth, your income will only grow. As much as you work, have you ever heard of people who won huge sums of money and then lost everything they owned and became as they were? You must have heard of those who won the tickets and reaped huge sums of money and then returned to how they were because they simply do not know the internal laws that help them preserve their property and its water. On the other hand, there are those who lose their wealth and then return as rich as they were. The closest example is businessman Donald Trump. He lost almost everything he owned, and after 2 years, he was able to regain everything he owned and more than that. The reason is that the rich know the internal laws that help them preserve money, even if it is hundreds of dollars. From the principles of wealth, if you want to change the fruit, change the roots first. From my experience, I say that what we do not see in this world is much stronger than what we can see. Fruits, for example, cannot appear except with their roots, which we cannot see. We live in the dimensions of these 4 worlds. What we see in the material world is nothing but a reflection of the rest of the worlds. According to this analogy, money is a result, health is a result, and illness is a result. All of these material results are nothing but a reflection of the rest of the worlds. From the principles of Rai, wealth, health, and illness are only results. Lack of money is only one of the symptoms. What happens on the inside, the reason is limited to your inner world. And in order to obtain an abundance of money, you must change your inner world first. Among the principles of wealth, thoughts lead to feelings. Feelings lead to actions. Actions lead to results. Most of our thoughts have programmed us since childhood, and they are the reason for what you see as the results. The poor. We are programmed from childhood on certain ideas that were the reason for creating their bad financial habits, while the rich may be programmed on other ideas that were the reason for creating their successful financial habits. We will review the 3 most prominent methods that we have been programmed with since our appearance in this life. Verbal guidance. And by verbal guidance, we mean what you were hearing. When you were young and it affected you when you grew up, when your parents warn you about the rich and that they are very greedy, or that stocks are a losing market and everyone who enters it will end up losing all their money. All of these ideas have been programmed into you and have influenced you since childhood, and you have become influenced by these ideas. There are 4 main steps that will help you. In getting rid of these ideas that you have been programmed with, you will discuss 3 of them and the 4th in detail as follows. First, perception. Write down all the phrases you heard about money, secrets, and the rich when you were young. Write what you think about the impact of these phrases on your material life. You must believe that these ideas do not represent you and that it is not part of your being and it does not express you. Then allow yourself to separate from these thoughts and then discuss these thoughts as tradition. Most of our wrong financial habits resulted from our imitation of our father when we were young. When your father does not save any additional sums of money at the end of the month, the result is undoubtedly nothing. Save something too, and tell about the rest of the wrong financial habits that we imitated our parents when we were young. And to get rid of the imitation programming, there are 3 main steps, which are understanding the impact of the imitation process on your financial life, separation, to separate from this influence, and to decide to be different from the imitation process. That statement is to say that what my father did does not concern me, and I am the one who chooses my own path. The special events, and finally the events related to money that happened in childhood, have a great impact on changing the thinking towards money. Like one night while we were holding the course Secrets of the Millionaire's Mind, we found a woman with a very good salary, but she does not save anything from it. And when the end of the month comes, she becomes in debt with large sums of money. So we searched together for the causes of this problem, and we found that in the past, she was next to her father while they were eating food in a luxurious restaurant. And her father shouted at the waiter because of the high food bill, and her father was suffering from heart disease, and when it became severe, she screamed when her father fell on the table. This experience created a negative mindset in the woman about money, so she began to think and act as if money, if it existed, would cause her what happened to her father. How the rich think. The way the rich think, unlike the poor and people of the middle class. We will introduce you to the principles of achieving wealth from this book. The rich know. They are the ones who create their material lives, while the poor do not realize that. The rich are well aware that their financial situation is in their hands, but the poor do not realize that. They believe that wealth is a gift from God, or that it is a mere coincidence. While in reality, a person can choose between wealth and poverty. The poor are always and always many. Blame the rich or the economic conditions in the government. They always complain a lot and justify their condition of poverty by blaming the rich. When someone tells you that the rich are greedy and that the ER is not important, ask him this question. Are you poor? It is true that you will find him answering yes, or I am facing financial problems, etc. The rich play the game of money. In order to win, the poor play the money game in order not to lose. The rich always think about increasing their wealth and seizing opportunities that allow them to become rich, while the poor only think about achieving financial comfort or getting rid of debt. If you want to think like the rich, you must try. Always think about getting rich, in addition to seizing business opportunities and everything that contributes to growing your wealth. The rich are committed to being rich, as they devote all their effort and time to getting rich, while the poor only want to become rich without putting in any extra effort. And in order to acquire this habit, you must devote your effort and your time and to be on a high degree of risk, just like the songs. The rich have big dreams, while the poor dream small dreams. One of the lecturers had a fortune that did not exceed $25,000, and in a period of 3 years, his wealth jumped to more than $600 million. And when he asked about the secret, he said, I stopped dreaming small and became, I have big dreams. Many poor people have very small ambitions, so they only achieve little, while those with big dreams and ambitions always achieve great achievements. I wanted to establish more than 100 sports stores, while my friend only wanted to have one sports store. And as a result, I became completely rich while becoming. My friend is financially comfortable. The rich focus on opportunities while the poor focus on obstacles. The rich always see opportunities in everything and take the initiative to seize them. Unlike the poor who delay in seizing opportunities because of their flimsy excuses, such as lack of complete knowledge or fear of loss. Always take the initiative to seize opportunities and be optimistic about the opportunity, but in a thoughtful manner. The rich take risks, but in a very thoughtful way, while the poor never take the initiative under the pretext of fear of loss. The rich love the rich and successful, while the poor despise the rich and successful. There are many poor people who despise the rich, and perhaps this is the reason why they became poor. Your contempt for the rich and your belief that they are greedy are just beliefs, a mistake that will make you attract poverty. Have you ever seen a poor person mix with or befriend a rich person? Certainly not. You will always find the poor mixing with those who are at the same financial level as them, while the rich mix with the rich and successful people like them. Always remember that energy is contagious, like a contagious disease. When you mix with a poor person, you will discover frustration and you will not become rich. We always find wealthy people going to luxury golf courses, and I am almost certain that it is not just for the sake of playing, but also for the sake of mixing with successful and wealthy people who have positive energy about themselves. The rich are good at promoting themselves, while the poor are not good at it. The poor are not always good at marketing their products and themselves. As they believe that customers, they will flock to them. As the writer Robert Kiyosaki, author of the book Rich Dad and Poor Dad, whose book became one of the best-selling books in the world, said, he says that my book became the best-selling book in the world not the best written in the world, and it achieved more profits than the best written books. All credit goes to marketing skill. Remember that the market is always crowded, and if you do not promote yourself, you will never make profits. Also remember that even heads of state promote themselves by showcasing their presidential ideas in order to be nominated, and therefore you need to promote yourself. The rich are bigger than their problems, while the poor are smaller than their problems. The rich always face problems and think of solutions, while the poor, on the contrary, they believe that they are smaller than their problems and that they are unable to solve them. So they avoid problems, and the result is that they fall into the biggest problem of all, which is that they have become broke for life. Always remember that the path to wealth is full of difficulties, and the successful are those who face them and overcome them. This is what distinguishes the rich. They think of solutions and then they get up. By solving the problem directly instead of thinking about the problem or withdrawing from the game, the rich are excellent receivers while the poor are bad receivers. The rich have the ability to receive money because they have positive thoughts about money and have high self-esteem, while the poor, on the contrary, are when you are pessimistic or believe that you are not worthy. Money, of course, will only bring poverty, while when you believe that you are able to make money and that the rich are not better than you, then you will attract more money and you will become rich. Finally, remember that no child is born with rich or poor written on his forehead. A song is like a rich person. The rich choose to get salaries based on the results and the value they provide, while the poor choose to get guaranteed and secure salaries. The poor want a fixed salary or an hourly wage. They do not want to take risks, so they get fixed salaries. The result is that they stay away from opinions, while the rich always prefer to get money in exchange for the value they provide or the results. What is hoped is that they take risks because they are not afraid of the results. You will find them owning stock shares and participating with others in their projects in exchange for periodic profits and owning lands. All of these are not completely safe, but they are profitable. Remember that the profit increases with the increase in the amount of risk. So always try to get money in exchange for the results if you work as a marketer for a private company. It is better for you to work for results than to work for a fixed monthly salary. This applies to other professions. The rich choose all things, while the poor choose only one thing. The poor are programmed to choose one of two things, happiness or wealth, and they cannot choose both while the poor do. They choose happiness, wealth, health, and everything else. They believe that they can choose all things together and that there is no conflict between money and anything else. Beware of this programming, which is that you believe that money conflicts with the other pleasures of life. Money is the key to happiness, success, and everything else. The rich focus on their net worth while the poor, they focus on their net income. The rich calculate net worth, unlike the poor, who calculate their income. What is important is to know net worth by knowing the assets you own, such as names, bonds, and lands. What is more correct is the value you own, which you can transfer into money. Job income is only one factor out of four factors. The main factors that determine your net worth, and these factors are income, savings, investments, simplification. That the poor focus on job income, while it represents only one factor, and the focus should be on the four factors combined. The orbit is what allows you to invest your money, and the rich save from their income in order to invest it in the future, and this is the first. Steps towards wealth. The rich manage their money well, while the poor mismanage their money. The rich manage their money well. They invest and manage effectively, while the poor know nothing about money management. They only increase their expenses without investing what they own. In order to become financially free, you must set up an investment account and enter it. Even if it is $1 and then increase the amount gradually. This is a simple strategy, but its results are amazing. The rich are aware of their money and let it work for them, while the poor work for the money. You always find the poor working hard for long years until they get the money. They have a wrong belief about money, which is that you work hard until you get money, but the rich are fully aware of how to increase their passive income, which is the income that you obtain without work or effort, the profits of the stocks, the profits of the property that you own, the profits of the project that you manage, They do not work for the money, but rather they make the money work for them by reinvesting it. Be smart like fools and be sure to save your money and then invest it and reinvest the profits you get. If you don't know, learn. The rich act in spite of fear, while the poor let their fear stop them. The poor let their fears control them and prevent them from achieving their goals, while the rich worry but do not let their anxiety control them, on them, and prevents them from achieving success. Most poor people live within their comfort zone. That is, the zone in which they do not feel any tension or brain, and you will not achieve any success if you cannot get out of this zone. The rich continue to learn, while the poor believe that they already know. Natural scientists have acknowledged that there is nothing fixed in the world. For example, if a plant does not grow, it will die, and this rule applies to humans. Likewise, if it does not grow, you will die as well. Therefore, you must invest in the learning process and always learn everything related to money. Excerpts from the book, Secrets of the Millionaire's Mind. When the mind is forced, until he chooses between feelings and logic, feelings always win. If your motivation toward having money or realizing success comes from an unhelpful feeling, such as fear, anger, or the need to prove yourself, then your money will never bring you happiness. The only way is to change the temperature of the room. On an ongoing basis, it is by resetting the thermostat. By analogy, the only way to change your level of financial success permanently is by resetting your financial plan. Money is very important in the areas in which it works and has no importance in the areas in which it does not work. There is no we can call him the wealthy victim. If your goal is to become financially comfortable, then the most likely thing is that you will never become rich. But if your goal is to become rich, there is a great possibility that you will end up in the best conditions of living comfort. The first reason is that you do not. Some people get what they want because they do not know what they want. If you are not completely, truly, and to the utmost commitment to achieving prosperity, then the most likely thing is that you will not achieve it. Bless that thing that you want. The point is that if you despise what people have and you want it, you will never get it. Leaders win, much more than the followers. The secret of success is not in trying to escape from problems, avoid them, or get rid of them. Rather, the secret is to develop yourself until you become greater than any problem. If you have a big problem in your life, that only means that you are acting like a big person. If you say that you are worthy, then you are. Also, if you say that you are not worthy, then you are not worthy. In either case, you are the one who will live this story. The way you do everything now will be the way you do everything in the future. There is nothing wrong with getting a fixed salary unless it conflicts with your ability. You must earn what is appropriate for your value. This is where the problem occurs, and it often happens. Never try to put a ceiling on yourself. The rich believe that you can have your cake and eat it too. The middle class says that cake is expensive, so we will eat a small piece. The poor believe that cake is expensive. The price does not suit them in the first place. Wherever the focus goes, the energy follows it and the results appear behind them. Until you demonstrate your ability to control what you have, you will not get more of it. But if you control the money, it will flee from you in search of someone else. The rich see every dollar as a seed that can be planted. In order to earn another $100 and it can be replanted in order to earn another $1,000, it is not necessary to get rid of fear completely in order to reach success. The only state in which you will grow is when he feels uncomfortable that every expert was once a failure. You were great with the summary of the book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind.